The Marcomannic Wars. Introduction. The Marcomannic Wars were a series of battles between the Romans and mainly the Germanic tribes of northern Europe, lasting from 160 AD to 180 AD. The struggle against the Germanic tribes occupied a major part of the reign of Marcus Aurelius. Furthermore, while on these campaigns of conquest in northern Europe, Marcus wrote his Meditations. Leading up to this period, Rome had a relatively peaceful era during the reign of Antoninus Pius. Pius never engaged in any substantial wars during his time as emperor, and he never left Italy. However, with the ascension of Marcus Aurelius, the Roman Empire faced renewed threats from the northern frontiers, marking a significant shift in the empire's stability and requiring Marcus to both lead in battle and reflect deeply on the nature of leadership and duty. The Battle of Aquileia, 169 AD. The Marcomannic Wars began with a sudden and devastating attack on the Roman city of Aquileia. The Germanic tribes, led by the Marcomanni, breached the Danube frontier and stormed into northern Italy. This marked the beginning of a fierce and prolonged struggle that would test the resilience and leadership of Marcus Aurelius. Aurelius, stationed in Rome, received the alarming news of the invasion. Understanding the gravity of the situation, he swiftly organized a relief force. He called upon his most trusted generals and mobilized legions from across the empire. The journey to Aquileia was arduous, with the soldiers marching day and night to reach the besieged city. As Marcus rode alongside his men, he reflected on the nature of fear and duty. Despite the uncertainty and danger ahead, he maintained a calm and composed demeanor, inspiring confidence in his troops. Upon reaching Aquileia, Marcus found the city under heavy siege. The walls were battered, and the defenders were on the brink of exhaustion. The Marcomanni had surrounded the city, cutting off supplies and reinforcements. Inside the walls, civilians and soldiers alike struggled to hold out, their hope waning with each passing day. Recognizing the urgency of the situation, Marcus Aurelius devised a bold plan to break the siege. He coordinated a multi-pronged assault, using the element of surprise to his advantage. Under the cover of darkness, Roman scouts gathered intelligence on the enemy's positions. Marcus divided his forces into three main groups: one to launch a frontal assault, another to flank the enemy, and a third to create a diversion. At dawn, the Roman legions advanced. The frontal assault, led by Marcus himself, charged towards the main gate, drawing the Marcomanni's attention. Meanwhile, the flanking force moved silently through the woods, positioning themselves behind the enemy lines. The diversionary force set fires and created chaos on the outskirts of the Marcomanni camp, further disorienting them. The plan worked perfectly. The Marcomanni, caught off guard by the sudden and coordinated attack, struggled to respond. The Roman legions breached the enemy lines, and fierce hand-to-hand combat ensued. Marcus Aurelius fought alongside his men, demonstrating remarkable bravery and tactical acumen. His presence on the battlefield galvanized the Roman soldiers, who pushed forward with renewed vigor. As the battle raged, the flanking force managed to encircle a significant portion of the Marcomanni army. Realizing their predicament, the Marcomanni began to falter. The Romans pressed their advantage, and soon the besiegers were in full retreat. The defenders of Aquileia, emboldened by the arrival of reinforcements, sallied out from the city to join the fray, further tipping the scales in favor of the Romans. The battlefield was a scene of chaos and carnage, but by the end of the day, the Roman forces had achieved a decisive victory. The Marcomanni were forced to withdraw, leaving behind their dead and wounded. The siege of Aquileia was broken, and the city was liberated. Standing within the liberated city, Marcus Aurelius addressed his troops and the grateful citizens of Aquileia. The relief and gratitude were palpable, as people gathered to thank their savior.
That night, as the fires of celebration burned and the wounded were tended to, Marcus Aurelius retreated to his tent. He penned his thoughts, capturing the essence of the day's events.
Marcus Aurelius knew that this victory, though significant, was just the beginning. The Marcomannic threat was far from over, and many more battles lay ahead. But he also knew that, as long as they held firm to their principles and fought with courage and unity, they could overcome any challenge. The Battle of Aquileia marked a critical turning point in the Marcomannic Wars, showcasing the leadership and strategic brilliance of Marcus Aurelius. It also set the stage for the emperor's continued philosophical reflections amidst the turmoil of war, demonstrating his unwavering commitment to the ideals of stoicism and the resilience of the human spirit.
The Battle of the Danube, 171 AD. Following the events at Aquileia, Marcus Aurelius recognized the need to secure the Danube frontier. The Marcomanni and their allies were regrouping, and a decisive confrontation was inevitable. The stability of the northern borders was crucial for the security of the Roman Empire, and Marcus was determined to protect it. Understanding the importance of preparation, Marcus led his legions to the Danube. He established a series of fortified positions along the river, creating a formidable line of defense. These fortifications included watchtowers, fortified camps, and palisades, designed to both monitor enemy movements and provide strong defensive points.
The Roman soldiers worked tirelessly to construct these defenses, knowing that their efforts could mean the difference between victory and defeat. Scouts were dispatched to gather intelligence on the Marcomanni, providing crucial information on their numbers and movements. Marcus Aurelius's strategy was to lure the enemy into a position where the Romans could exploit their tactical superiority. By holding the fortified line and drawing the Marcomanni across the Danube, he aimed to force them into a disadvantageous battle. When the Marcomanni finally crossed the Danube, they encountered the Roman fortifications. The initial clash was brutal, with both sides suffering significant losses. The Marcomanni, driven by their desire to break Roman control, launched a series of fierce assaults on the Roman positions. Marcus Aurelius, ever the philosopher, took a moment amidst the chaos to reflect. Standing at the command post, he watched the unfolding battle with a keen eye, issuing orders to his officers and encouraging his men.
The Roman legions, disciplined and well-trained, held their ground. They used their fortifications to their advantage, repelling wave after wave of Marcomanni attacks. The battle raged on, with the air thick with the sounds of clashing weapons and the cries of the wounded. As the day wore on, the tide of the battle began to turn. The Roman soldiers, bolstered by their defensive positions and superior tactics, started to push back the Marcomanni. Marcus Aurelius, seeing an opportunity, ordered a counterattack. The Roman cavalry, held in reserve, swept around the flanks of the Marcomanni, cutting off their retreat and creating chaos in their ranks. The legions, encouraged by the sight of their emperor fighting alongside them, pressed their advantage. The Marcomanni, realizing they were outmaneuvered and outmatched, began to falter. The turning point came when a group of Roman soldiers managed to breach the Marcomanni central command, causing panic and disarray among their leadership. The coordinated Roman assault broke the enemy lines, and the Marcomanni were forced to retreat across the Danube. The battlefield, once a scene of fierce combat, fell silent as the last of the Marcomanni withdrew. Marcus Aurelius, surveying the aftermath, saw the cost of victory. The ground was littered with the fallen, both Roman and Marcomanni, a stark reminder of the price of war.
Despite the losses, the victory at the Danube was significant. It secured the northern frontier and demonstrated the might of the Roman Empire. The soldiers, though weary, were filled with a sense of accomplishment and pride. That evening, as the camp settled into a somber but relieved quiet, Marcus Aurelius retreated to his tent. By the light of a flickering oil lamp, he wrote in his journal, capturing the essence of the day's events. The Battle of the Danube highlighted Marcus Aurelius's strategic brilliance and unwavering commitment to his principles. It was a testament to the strength and discipline of the Roman legions and the enduring spirit of their leader. As the emperor reflected on the day's events, he knew that the road ahead would be challenging, but he was prepared to face it with wisdom and courage. The Battle of Sirmium 175 AD. In 175 AD, the threat of the Germanic tribes was compounded by an internal rebellion. Avidius Cassius, a trusted general, declared himself emperor and sought to usurp Marcus Aurelius. The emperor was forced to split his focus between the external threat and the internal betrayal. Upon learning of Cassius's betrayal, Marcus Aurelius was deeply troubled. Avidius Cassius had been a loyal and capable general, and his rebellion struck at the heart of the emperor's trust. The stability of the Roman Empire was at stake, and Marcus understood that he needed to act swiftly and decisively. Marcus Aurelius quickly mobilized his loyal legions and led them towards Sirmium, a key city in the province of Pannonia where Cassius had established his stronghold. The journey was filled with tension, as the emperor knew that the outcome of this confrontation would determine the future of his reign. Upon reaching Sirmium, Marcus Aurelius found that Cassius's forces were well entrenched. However, the loyalty and discipline of the emperor's legions were unmatched. As the battle commenced, the seasoned soldiers of Marcus Aurelius clashed with Cassius's troops. The conflict was intense, with both sides fighting fiercely for control. Despite the initial resistance, it soon became clear that Cassius's forces were no match for the emperor's experienced legions. The battle was swift and decisive, with Marcus Aurelius personally leading his troops and inspiring them with his presence and leadership. The loyalty of his soldiers, coupled with their superior training and tactics, quickly overwhelmed Cassius's defenses. As the battle reached its climax, Avidius Cassius found himself increasingly isolated. His own men, seeing the futility of their cause and fearing retribution, turned against him. Cassius was ultimately killed by his own officers, and the rebellion collapsed. Marcus Aurelius stood victorious, but he knew that the true test lay in how he handled the aftermath. In the wake of his victory, Marcus Aurelius faced a choice. He could have enacted harsh retribution against Cassius's supporters, but he chose a different path. Displaying the wisdom and clemency that characterized his reign, Marcus Aurelius opted for mercy. He offered clemency to those who had supported Cassius, understanding that forgiveness could restore unity and stability within the empire. This act of mercy reinforced his authority and demonstrated his commitment to justice and reconciliation. That night, after the battle, Marcus Aurelius retreated to his tent. Here he reflected on the day's events and the nature of power and leadership. The Battle of Sirmium was not just a military victory, it was a testament to Marcus Aurelius's philosophical ideals and his commitment to the principles of Stoicism. His decision to show clemency highlighted the depth of his character and the strength of his leadership. Marcus Aurelius's handling of the rebellion demonstrated his ability to navigate both external and internal threats with wisdom and resolve. His actions ensured the continued stability and prosperity of the Roman Empire, solidifying his legacy as one of Rome's greatest and most principled leaders. The Battle of Sirmium underscored the importance of integrity, compassion, and wisdom in leadership, values that Marcus Aurelius embodied throughout his reign. The Battle of the Quadi 179 AD. The final years of Marcus Aurelius's reign were marked by a relentless campaign against the Quadi, another Germanic tribe threatening the empire's northern borders. The Quadi, emboldened by previous conflicts, launched a series of aggressive raids that demanded a decisive Roman response. During a critical engagement, the Roman legions found themselves surrounded by the Quadi. The situation was dire as the soldiers suffered from severe dehydration under the relentless sun. The morale of the troops was sinking and hope seemed to be fading. In this moment of despair, Marcus Aurelius turned to prayer, seeking divine intervention. According to legend, a sudden and unexpected storm broke out. the heavens opened and rain poured down upon the parched soldiers. This miraculous deluge provided much-needed water for the Romans and simultaneously demoralized the Quadi, who were caught off guard by the sudden change in weather. Buoyed by this miraculous turn of events, the Roman soldiers were reinvigorated. The rain not only quenched their thirst but also symbolized hope and resilience. With renewed strength and determination, they launched a counterattack. The Quadi, demoralized and disorganized by the storm, were unable to maintain their encirclement. The Romans broke through the Quadi lines, transforming what had seemed like impending defeat into a decisive victory. The enemy was routed, and the threat to the northern borders was significantly diminished. In the aftermath of the battle, Marcus Aurelius reflected on the events that had unfolded. To him, the storm was more than just a fortunate occurrence, it was a powerful symbol of resilience and divine favor. He saw the storm as a reminder of the unpredictable nature of life and the importance of maintaining faith and perseverance even in the face of overwhelming odds. This experience reinforced his belief in the interconnectedness of the universe and the guiding principles of Stoicism. The battles Marcus Aurelius fought were not just military engagements but tests of his philosophical beliefs and leadership. Each victory and setback offered a lesson, reinforcing his commitment to Stoic principles and the betterment of the Roman Empire. His ability to lead with wisdom and compassion, even in the most challenging circumstances, left a lasting impact on his soldiers and the empire. As he continued to lead and reflect, his writings and meditations captured the essence of his wisdom and the lessons learned from his experiences. The universe's change our life is what our thoughts make it. Embrace each challenge with a clear mind and a steady heart. The Battle of the Quadi exemplified the resilience and fortitude of Marcus Aurelius. It demonstrated his unwavering commitment to his duties as both a military leader and a philosopher. His reflections on the events, captured in his writings, continue to inspire and guide those who seek wisdom in the face of adversity. Through his leadership and philosophical insights, Marcus Aurelius ensured that his legacy would endure far beyond his reign. The victory against the Quadi, marked by the miraculous rain, became a testament to the strength of the human spirit and the enduring power of faith and resilience.